So the age-old question of what is the big three of anime and manga? If I want to end this video right here, I would say as of 2022, there is no big three. But now what fun would that be, huh? Especially considering with this new generation of anime and manga fans, a lot of them still hear of the whispers and the rumors and the myth and all of that lore of what the big three in anime and manga is. Now, a decade plus ago, if you would have asked flat out, the answer was through and through from anybody over here in the West, big three is Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. And to give you a quick history in case you don't know of what the hell the big three even is, it was basically a term coined for three manga, three anime that were the most popular, and all other series paled in comparison to the success of those three. Again, Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. They pretty much had the anime and manga industry by a stronghold, and ultimately no other series could really match up. However, as time went on, 2014, Naruto came to a close, 2016, Bleach ended, and then there was just the big one, One Piece. And I guess even before all of that, if there was a big three prior to that generation, it probably would have been Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, and Rurouni Kenshin. Because the big three is usually conceptualized of the three most popular, and they're usually shonen manga or shonen anime battle series. They're never really like, hey dog, here's that slice of life. They're a part of the big three, so to speak. It's usually battle series that get put into that category of, yo dog, they're big three. Following Bleach's end and the entering of a new generation of anime and manga like My Hero Academia, Black Clover, all of those new gen series, which at this point they're veterans, which is kind of bonkers to think, holy shit, we've been doing this forever. But I would have argued back then, even around like 2016, 2017, 2018, that the big three of that era, even following that a few years, was My Hero Academia, possibly Black Clover, although the success never really measured up to what people expected, and still One Piece. One Piece has been the juggernaut that just keeps on going. But you know, enough of the history lesson. Where is this term at right now as of 2022? What's going on with it? What is big three? What's happening? And the truth of the matter is that there is no big three. The truth of the matter is that term was specifically coined because of Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach's massive success that they had as a trio, and since then there really hasn't been any series that could officially stick in there, because now anime and manga is so popular and there's so many series that are selling astronomical. You got a lot of different series that are really mega popular, so there's no need necessarily to coin three series that are, you know, on top of everything else, because there's series left and right that are massively popular. But let's play devil's advocate, shall we? If we had to pick three series that reign supreme and fit the category of big three here in 2022, what would it be? Now, if I'm being all the way real with you, I've been thinking about this for the past couple of weeks. Like, wow, what would be a big three in 2022, considering that there's just so many series out there right now that are actually very successful, and anime and manga is thriving like it never has in the past. So it's like, well, what sticks there? And there was a couple of different things that led me to my decision of like, okay, these are probably what big three are in 2022. Now, mind you, this is a more broad stroke because big three back in the day were three series that had both anime and manga, and some of my picks may or may not have one or the other. They might be manga only, they might be anime only. Yeah, there's just such a crazy, chaotic scene in anime and manga now that is not so cut and dry of, hey, they have anime episodes coming out every week and they have manga chapters coming out every week. It's kind of becoming a more thing of the past, so to speak. Things are now a little bit more abstract where you don't know what type of formats things is going to be in. But I can easily say that if there was a big three, hands down, one title in particular automatically has to be inserted to it. Its popularity has been like no other. It has broken records. It has done things that no other anime and manga in the history of anime and manga have ever been able to achieve. And that, you probably guessed it, maybe you didn't. Oh, I don't know. Did you guess it? Let me know. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. Now, granted, this series, the manga in particular, finished off in 2020. It was pretty much like the top of the year of 2020 where they closed off the manga. However, the anime is a whole different story, because despite the fact that the manga ended, we're getting seasonal releases of the episodes of the anime, and as it stands right now, we're patiently waiting for the next batch, the season 3, so to speak, for Demon Slayer. But I couldn't tell tell you just all of the achievements off the top of my head that Demon Slayer has been able to achieve. Like, for starters, I mean, the Mugen Train film is the most successful film in Japanese history. It beat out all of the other anime films. It is just in a league of its own. It broke record after record. It literally became a phenomenon and an anomaly in this space where anime films, they can be successful. We've seen the One Pieces and the Dragon Ball Super films that do great. Naruto has had a hell of a run as well. Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Mugen Train, whole different ball game, smashing records. It was in the middle of a global pandemic on top of all that it came through and did what it did, which makes it just something otherworldly. Not to mention that Demon Slayer ushered in a whole new motto for the anime and manga industry, but in particular for manga, because most of the time, historically, it was always, in order for you to continue having anime adaptations, your manga has to keep on going. That's why back in the day, a ton of anime would usually have either anime only endings or no concrete ending in general, because usually once the manga ended, they really wanted nothing more to do with it when it came to the anime side of things, because the manga was what was used to cross promote and get the anime popping. Nowadays, because of Demon Slayer, series can quickly wrap up its manga and then have an anime after that and be treated almost like a separate entity altogether as an anime, and that's a lot in part due to Demon Slayer. They saw that with Demon Slayer, despite the fact that the manga ended, every time there's new Demon Slayer episodes, the world goes mad. Back catalog of the volumes of the manga continued to sell astronomically. It literally changed the game as a whole. And I'm going to reference this a couple of times throughout this video, but I just went to a con recently, my first con post-pandemic, and that was easily the most cosplay that I saw everywhere, not including the fact that my 5-year-old just became a big Demon Slayer fan thanks to TikTok. Shoutouts to TikTok, helping my daughter get on board, something that I, the anime guru, couldn't do. But it was just like everywhere I turned, oh snap, there's some more Demon Slayer. Oh snap, there's a Gyu cosplay, there's Tanjiro, there's Nezuko. It was just rampant all throughout. And then going back to sales, I mean, you put out a Demon Slayer coloring book, you put out a Chibi spinoff, and it sells millions upon millions. And then on top of all of that, you add the fact that the fans, for the most part, minus some criticisms that they have about the manga, damn near praise the anime as some of the greatest things since sliced bread. Like, the anime, because of Studio Ufotable's adaptation, I have no doubt in my mind to say that they really took Demon Slayer to a whole new level that I'm not sure any other studio would have been able to do. Granted, Mappa Studios has started to follow suit in making those incredible adaptations, but Studio Ufotable's decision to move into a different direction opposed to just sticking with all of the Type Moon stuff like Fate Zero, Fate Stay Night, and all of that stuff, and going to the shonen direction was a game changer for this series and for the industry as well, because it showed just, oh my god, this is what anime can look like. And in particular, some of the shonen stuff, when you really put the top and the best talent out there, it went boom. So hands down, I say all that to say that easily, if there is a big three in 2022, despite the fact that the manga ended already over 2 years ago now, you gotta put in Demon Slayer. Every time there's a new season, the world stops. Demon Slayer definitely in a potential hypothetical 2022 big three. Then my next choice was a little hard to make simply because we still haven't even got an anime for it. Chainsaw Man! Chainsaw Man! Again, referencing my recent convention visit. For starters, if there was a second biggest fandom of cosplay that I saw throughout this convention, it was Chainsaw Man. Anywhere from the full-on Denji with the chainsaw head, to Denji at the beginning of the manga, to Power, to Makima. It was just all over the place, inescapable. And this is something, again, of an anomaly. The fact that Chainsaw Man is manga only. This is easily something that's never been seen before, where a series is so freaking popular without an anime, to the point that it competes popularity wise with series that are very well established, that have full-on anime adaptations, and surpasses a lot of them as well. Now granted, Chainsaw Man, I feel like the reason why it was able to snatch up this level of popularity was, one, it was in Weekly Shonen Jump, the biggest Japanese publication for manga that releases and serializes things of that level, but also the fact that it did something that no other shonen series will do, especially in Jump, and that's that it took risks. It went with crude humor. It oftentimes would go edgy, but still keeping a level of quality that doesn't just feel like, hey, let's a Kamiga kill it and everybody freaking dies every single episode. Now granted, Chainsaw Man definitely does pull no punches, because yes, your favorite characters, they're not safe, lads. And don't worry, I'm not spoiling anything. It's just that damn crazy. Despite the fact that the main character Denji is not, like, you know, an older person, the series itself, the tone of it, the fact that it's going into the workforce and not in school. Granted, post Chainsaw Man 2 seems to be going in a different direction, but it just felt like it was for older people, but at the same time, younger kids can gravitate towards it because of, again, the crude humor, the epic action, the gore, the violence, and just in general, it packaged up something so beautifully that you don't get in something as popular as a Shonen Jump publication. From the characters that they can be menacing at times, but still incredibly likable, like Makima or Power, or especially the main character. Denji is just so different than any of the other shonen characters. While Goku and Naruto want to eat, while Ichigo just wants to save his friends, while Luffy wants to be the pirate king, Denji just wants to get a handful of boobs. And again, you could argue, oh god, we went edgy with it, but that's something of a charm for something in a mold that doesn't allow for that. The Shonen Jump motto is effort, victory, friendship, not get a handful of boobs. And I would throw the argument that a lot of that had to do with Demon Slayer changing the landscape a little bit of anime and manga and going more so towards a darker, more violent vibe with especially shonen series. So shout out to Demon Slayer, again, another addition as to why it belongs in the big three. But Chainsaw Man just came and shook up the game, and to the point of this recording right now, there's still no anime for it. The anime doesn't begin for another couple months out. And so to be able to attain a level of popularity, I think at this particular point it sold well over like 10 million copies of the manga. To be able to penetrate the hearts of fans worldwide, to people who are just cosplaying left and right everywhere, to be able to do the things that it's done without an anime speaks volumes to Chainsaw Man's massive success. And I can only imagine once that anime drops, if it does what it's supposed to do, it'll probably make it potentially even on the level or even surpassing that of Demon Slayer. It's just that damn insane, and again, something that has never been seen before of, yo, you rocked the world without an anime adaptation, the main key ingredient for 99.9% of manga, light novels, and everything that comes out of Japan to be able to reach those heights of success. Now, the third choice for a hypothetical 2022 Big Three. Now, this one was a little bit challenging for me, to be honest with you, because there's two titles in particular that I would put in there. For argument's sake, I would like to move one to the side because I feel like at this particular point, it is above and beyond being fit in a big three. And that one is One Piece. Like, easily, I could slap in and say, yo, One Piece is big three. Again, one more time to reference my convention visit. All I saw aside from the other two was One Piece cosplay everywhere, from Luffy's to Nami's to Zoro. Even though the Zoro cosplayer that I met looked exactly like Zoro and acted like a little bit of an asshole. One Piece cosplay was rampant. Online, all you hear is talks of One Piece. But again, to put it in a big three with these newer titles almost feels like a disservice and a disrespect to the franchise as a whole. One Piece has already had its heyday of being a part of a big three. It has surpassed that. It beat its contemporaries of its time, and it is in a league of its own. One Piece is pretty much the legend that is still rocking out, still strong, and still one of the peaks. So yes, I could ideally, if I wanted to, put One Piece in a big three in 2022, but what fun would that be? I mean, again, it's already done everything that you could think of under the sun and still massively successful. So sure, if you want to put One Piece in a big three right now, you could, but for argument's sake, let's move the GOAT aside, let it have its own shine, its own lane. And the third one I would probably put is Jujutsu Kaisen. If you look at Shonen Jump right now, of all the manga in the magazine, the only other series that sells on the level of Jujutsu Kaisen is One Piece. Everything else sells way below it, doesn't do nowhere close to the numbers of it. It recently had the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero film that did amazing in the box office globally. I'm gonna reference the convention visit one more time. If it wasn't Demon Slayer, if it wasn't Chainsaw Man, and it wasn't One Piece, it was Jujutsu Kaisen cosplay all over the place. I saw Yuji, I saw Nobara. Not many Gojos. I think Gojo's a little tricky to pull off. If you've done a good Gojo cosplay, please let me know. I would love to see it. But Jujutsu Kaisen right now, easily, not only is it one of the biggest series in Weekly Shonen Jump, but it's also very accomplished. Studio Mappa coming out and really showing and sharpening their skills from the days of co-production on the 2013 Hajime no Ippo, where they did a crossover with Madhouse to create it, which Studio Mappa is also made up of a bunch of ex-Madhouse employees. They showcased a whole other level to, again, a Shonen Jump series. It almost kind of is a message of, hey, if you take the most popular thing, Shonen Jump manga, and you add the best of the best studios next to them, look what happens. The manga sells millions of copies each volume every time there's a season, which granted there's only been one season and we're anxiously awaiting the second season, but everyone stops and talks about Jujutsu Kaisen, and you would argue critically, quality-wise, it is one of the best ongoing series out there. Very tight, very in-depth. It's Hunter x Hunter-esque. Jujutsu Kaisen is where it's at right now if you want some of the pinnacle of Shonen Jump series with detailed battles and a really interesting plot and cool characters. And above all else, again, it's just massively popular. Like in Shonen Jump right now, again, excluding One Piece, it is the highest seller and a couple of times has already outsold One Piece volume per volume. So yeah. And there you have it, people. If there was a big three in 2022 right now in terms of the popularity, in terms of cosplay, in terms of sales, in terms of movie grossing revenue, in terms of online buzz, it would be easily Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man, and Jujutsu Kaisen. And if you want, you could pretty much swap out damn near any of those and add in One Piece. But again, One Piece in a league of its own. And if anybody takes that as disrespect, I don't know what to tell you of me saying, hey, One Piece is too good to even fit into a category. But I'm extraordinarily curious what you guys think about this whole situation. Again, realistically, there's no need for a big three anymore. However, hypothetically, if there were a big three in 2022, what series would be in there? Considering it's kind of been a passing of the guard at this point. Like, don't get me wrong, My Hero Academia is still massively popular. Black Clover still has a buzz, all of that good stuff. But this new gen of what I'm seeing and how it's competing and what it's bringing to the table is just something that hasn't been done before. A lot of the other series, they kind of has showcased things that, you know, you get from classic shonen. But these series, while yeah, you might get some of that stuff, they just took it to a whole new level. And by no means is this something that's very strict and staple. Easily when Kaiju number 8 gets an anime adaptation, things might change. But as it stands right now, this is my list of the big three 2022 anime and manga. Let me know yours. That's all I have for this one. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in, and big three, big three. Guess I'm in the big... No, I don't know what I'm saying. Have an awesome day.
I have a dream, alone in my room as I sit with the tea. Couldn't possibly think what I often see, and you don't even know how I often blink. Lights be flashing and looking at me, such an odd unique, yet I'm so unique and you're looking at me. If the walls could talk, they would probably read bleak, and I'd probably say, bitch, get the fuck off me.